Threat actors broke into MailChimp, a well-known SaaS email marketing platform, earlier this year. They looked at more than 300 MailChimp user accounts, and 102 of them had audience data exported. A successful phishing attempt that came before the hack resulted in harmful attacks on end users of MailChimp's clients. A new attempt was launched against MailChimp 3 months later. An employee's account was compromised once more as a result of a successful phishing attempt. Although the names of the affected MailChimp accounts weren't made public, it's simple to understand how user permissions may have contributed to the assault. Threat detectors gained access to the system once they made a breach, allowing them to use an inside tool to locate the information they were looking for. Security teams were able to stop user access once the attack began, but downloaded data remained in the threat actor's possession. By implementing user permissions through role-based account control, RBAC, the breach's harm may have been significantly reduced. It's likely that the compromised account would not have provided access to the internal tools that were utilized in the assault if the principle of least privilege had been followed. Additionally, restricted access may have stopped the assault entirely or kept the number of impacted accounts much lower than the 100 that were ultimately compromised. What are user permissions? Using SaaS user permissions, app developers may restrict a user's access to resources and activities according to the user's role. The collection of permissions known as RBAC establishes the access levels to corporate data, gives read or write access, and grants privileges to high-level personnel. What is the purpose of the rule of least privilege? The principle of least privilege is a crucial security idea that offers users the least amount of access necessary to carry out their duties. By granting just a select group of privileged persons high-level access, it actually decreases the attack surface. The threat actor would have limited access to sensitive data stored within the program if a low-privilege user account were compromised. Why do user permissions matter for security? Team members commonly receive full access from app administrators, especially when working with a limited user base. They frequently fail to understand the level of risk involved in providing those access rights as they are business users rather than security experts. Additionally, they would rather grant complete consent than later be asked for more specific permits. Unfortunately, this method may jeopardize records containing sensitive data. In the case of a breach, user permissions assist in defining the data that is exposed. Threat actors that gain access to a user identity are constrained to the data that is accessible to their victim because data is protected behind a permission set. Additionally, loose user rights facilitate automated assaults by threat actors. It is simpler for hackers to compromise a SaaS program and either automate ransomware or steal data when there are several users with broad API capabilities. Why are user access reviews important? Reviews of user access are essentially audits that focus on people and access. They let app owners and security team members to change permission levels as necessary by displaying the level of access each user has. This is significant because it notifies security teams to employees whose actions have strayed from expected behavior to include questionable activity or identifies individuals who may have changed responsibilities or teams within the organization but kept an unreasonable degree of rights. Additionally, it aids in locating former workers who still possess access and high privilege rights. Access reviews should be conducted at regular intervals to make sure that superfluous permissions are found within a defined time range. Conclusion: user permissions are a security element that is sometimes misinterpreted. Organizations are shielded against internal data sharing mistakes as well as external threats. Effective user permission management is made possible by SSPM solutions like Adaptive Shield, enabling security staff and app owners the assurance to understand the scope of each user authorization and to view that user's SaaS security hygiene. User access audits, which only provide a snapshot picture of the user's permissions at a certain point in time, are much inferior to this real-time view of users in terms of effectiveness.